Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to do a fun video. It's going to be my favorite things. What are some of the things that I use in my business on a daily basis that I just can't live without? Over the years, I have accumulated different tools, different products. I've tried all kinds of different things and have discovered there are some things I just can't live without. They're super essential to my day-to-day operation. Yes, I do this full time. This is my sole business. And so for me, these things become investments. And I want to share that with you so you guys can know what are some great things to have on hand. Whether you're doing this for a business or just for a hobby, it doesn't matter. These are just some great products to have. So there's kind of a wide range. I'm gonna share with you some of my favorite paints, my brushes, just some tools that I use around the shop that make life a little easier. So let's go ahead and dive in and go through some of these products as quickly as we can. So first and foremost, I want to talk about some paints. What are some of my favorite paints? Well, that's evolved over the years because obviously I have tried, as you guys know, I've done so many review videos and tried so many different paints. That is for me and for you as well, so I can share that information. But I have discovered along the way in doing that some really great products. All right, so this is one of my #1 products that I use in the shop. It's been with me kind of from the early stages. My very first paint that I used was a chalk paint, and then after that I dove in and tried this. This is the General Finishes water-based acrylic milk paint. It is not a chippy milk paint, just so you know. It is a water-based acrylic milk paint. It provides a low luster sheen and it gives a beautiful finish. So it is wonderful to work with. It's one of my top paints that I use. It's a great company. I use a lot of their products actually, but their milk paint has just been tried and true for me and I absolutely love it. When I get asked what's my favorite paint, this is one of the #1 paints that I use and that I go to all the time. It's super easy to brush on as well as spray. So you can do both. It's a self-leveling, self-sealing paint. So what does that mean? You don't have to overwork it. It will level itself out, so that alleviates that brush stroke that a lot of you find challenging. And the self-sealing means you do not have to seal it. Now, what I will recommend is any high-use surface that is going to be like a kitchen table, maybe a dresser top, I would seal it. So for me, I pretty much seal all of my projects because I do sell them and I do want to make sure that they have the best chance at having a long, lustrous life with the paint. So you don't have to seal it, but you can. So there's that, the General Finishes milk paint. Now, another one that I picked up a couple years back was this guy here. This is Fusion Mineral Paint. And this is kind of a different, I get asked a lot, what are the differences between the two? Why do you like one versus the other? Well, there's a couple different reasons why. For one, sometimes it's nice not to have to mix your paint if you're trying to achieve a certain color and a different paint line has more color range. Fusion has a great color range, and I find that General Finishes, they do have, and they have elaborated on their color range lately, but you can definitely mix to achieve a color. It's just some people don't want to do that. So sometimes you'll look outside to a different brand and then you discover you really like that brand more for than just the color range. The Fusion is a different finish than General Finish. General Finishes gives a very low luster sheen, as I mentioned. The Fusion Mineral Paint is a completely matte finish. It also is a self-sealing paint, has a top coat built into it, so you do not have to top coat. I have many pieces painted in my house that I did not top coat for myself, and they are beautifully lasting. It's a very hard finish once it cures, so that is a really nice feature. Again, this is a great product that either brushes or sprays. Now, I have had feedback from some people that say they find it challenging, they find that they get brush strokes with this formula. Sometimes that's technique, sometimes it can be the formula. And so what I recommend, I have a lot of tips and tricks to how to avoid those brush strokes, so check out that video because I do have one up here on my channel. But this is a really good paint. Again, it's not a chalk paint, it is a mineral-based paint, and it's got a great quality about the finish. It is just different in the way that it's a matte finish. So it does give you that different look. So there's that one. And this one, and this is it for the paints that we're going to talk about today, but this paint is one I recently discovered. I think it was last year sometime I discovered this paint line, and it's called Wise Owl paint. And Wise Owl paint makes a chalk synthesis paint, and they make this wonderful 1 hour enamel, and this stuff has become one of the top paints that I use in my shop. It's absolutely phenomenal. I can't say enough good stuff about it. So what is different about this paint? Well, it is an enamel based paint. It dries in 1 hour, literally dries in 1 hour. You can put your hardware back on. It was designed for like doors and cabinets where people were working and having to wait for all these dry times. And Wise Owl came up with this formula that dries hard as nails, ready to go within an hour, and has a beautiful finish. This has a very pretty satin sheen to it. I'd say it's in between the General Finishes and the Fusion. It's kind of a matte satin. Does that make sense? It's not super shiny whatsoever. It does not require any sort of a top coat. Now again, that is an option if you want to change the sheen or add more protection to it, but it does not require it. It literally, I have painted many pieces in this and put my hardware on an hour after it has been dried, and it is ready to go. Sprays better, in my opinion, than brushing. I have done both, and I prefer to spray this for the most flawless look, but I have used a brush. It's just, I find with the brush, it's a little more challenging because it dries so quickly or sets up so quickly once it kind of hits the air. It can be challenging to work with. So keep that in mind, but it is a fabulous finish. Now, if somebody asked me today, what would you recommend for my kitchen cabinetry? I'd go with this. My personal preference. So I painted my kitchen cabinets with chalk paint many, many years ago, and they are holding up beautifully. I would say about 6 years ago I painted those, and it was kind of before I knew about any of these products. I was just literally putting my toe in the water and getting started with wanting to do paint projects. I waxed it, and the only bad thing I would say about it is I would never, ever, ever put that much effort into waxing my cabinets again. There's just too many good products out on the market that don't require all that work. It was a lot of work, and I thought my arm was gonna fall off by the end of the job. So I would recommend this guy if you're doing anything like that. It's a great furniture paint, great cabinet paint. So there's that. So then let's talk about before you paint. Sometimes, and I get asked this question very often, do I need to prime my piece? Well, that's a very open-ended question, and one that I cannot give you a definitive answer. The only thing I can tell you is look out for these red flags. If it's a dark wood and you're going to a white paint, you're probably going to want to prime it. And when I say dark wood, it doesn't necessarily mean mahogany or cherry, which those are major bleeders, so definitely. But oak, some oak will bleed through, and you'll have that golden tinge to your white paint. So I always prime my pieces when I'm going with a white and I am unsure if that wood is going to bleed through. I'm just not going to give it the opportunity. So the other thing I do is if I have had to sand down a piece to bare wood to make it appear better looking without scratches and dings and dents, then I don't put my paint on bare wood. It doesn't give it that same pretty finish, so I prime it. So one of my top primers that I like to use is this General Finishes Stain Blocker Primer. This is a water-based primer. It is not shellac-based. A lot of people do like the shellac-based primers, and they work fabulously. A couple of things I don't care for about working with them is they destroy your brushes, so you can't use a good brush, yet you want a good finish. And I personally wouldn't spray a shellac, whereas this, I can spray this primer through my gun because it's water-based. It is easy cleanup. I have no issues with that. It's very, very easily sandable. So once I prime it, if I feel a little bit like it's got a texture to it, I sand it and it is good to go. This is my number one. I use it on every project that needs priming. So this is a great product. All right, so let's talk about wood stains. Now, a couple of my favorite wood stains, and I get a lot of people that say, you use that one all the time, and it's really popular. When I first broke into the industry, I used to read where people would post about this, and I thought, what is that? Java Gel. So what is Java Gel? Java Gel is made by General Finishes. It's a gel-based oil stain. It is fabulous. It is a great, great stain. It's a very popular color. It's this beautiful dark brown. It's a very, very popular. I do so much still today. I use this Java Gel stain on so many of my projects. So it's just a really easy stain to go on. It's got great depth to it, great coverage. There are pieces where I've had to put one coat on. Now all wood takes stain differently, so keep that in mind. But this is the other thing, and I don't use it this way because it's just not my preference, but you can. You do not have to sand to bare wood. You can go right over an existing finish by scuffing that finish and putting the Java stain on. So it's pretty cool. So there's that one there. And I still use that all the time. It's one of my number ones. Now, one of the other brands that I really, really like, and the only thing about this brand that I like is their stain, and it's this particular stain. I have tried their top coats and I'm not a fan, but this Varathane wood stain, it's a 1 hour dry. It is awesome. This color is called Flagstone. I use this one a lot. It is a very beautiful light colored finish when I'm wanting that. And they have a wide array of colors, so that's really great. They have a very great color selection, but this stuff is awesome. It is an oil-based stain. It dries in 1 hour. It is really cool. Works so quickly. It's got good coverage, and this is less of a price point than the Java Gel stain, so if you're looking to shop on a budget, great, great product here. And I'm gonna list all these products down below in the show notes so that you guys know exactly, you don't have to go back and forth, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then my top coat. So I use almost all top coats on all projects, whether it's water-based paint or if it's an oil-based stain, I use this guy. So I have had my challenges over the years, and top coating is probably one of the most challenging things to do, because you get streaks, you get stuff that flies in it, it goes on cloudy, it's not going on evenly. You can have a beautifully finished piece and you go to top coat it and you want to pull your hair out. Been there, done that 1,000 times. So after many years of playing with different top coats, I did establish one that is my absolute favorite, and that is the General Finishes High Performance Top Coat. I prefer satin. That's just my finish that I like to put on. This is great, like I said, over painted projects and stained projects. I use it on both. The only difference that you have to be aware of is that when you're using a water-based product over an oil-based product, so let's say I've used my Java Gel stain on a dresser top, and now I want to use my water-based poly to seal it, I have to wait a little longer. That oil-based stain needs to dry for at least 72 hours before I top coat with my water-based. I'm okay with that because the finish comes out flawless and I absolutely love it. I have learned over the years how to apply the top coat. I've used different things to apply top coats. I primarily spray my top coat now because it's flawless, it's easy, it's water-based, it can go on into my spray gun, easy cleanup. You can apply this with a foam brush, or I have some of those little foam rounds that I've used. I've showed you guys those in previous videos. Those are great for application purposes with top coat as well. So this is pretty much the only top coat I use. I have tried different ones. There are good ones out there on the market. This is what works for me, one of my favorites. So there's that. One of the other products I want to talk about, it's kind of a two-in-one. So since we talked about stain and now we're talking about top coat, I want to share with you this product here. This is, and I'm sorry about the lighting in here, it gets really bright. This is Fusion Mineral Paint Stain and Finishing Oil. These are awesome. So I use these a lot to create that blended driftwood look. You can use their natural to be a sealer. These dry hard as nails. They were intended for wood flooring, so the formula is extremely durable and strong. They come in about 5 different colors. You get, not a lot of variety as far as colors go, but there's just so much that you can do with them. They blend out beautifully, and then, like I said, you don't have to top coat it. It's the stain and finishing oil in one. So therefore, once you put it on, it's a done deal. So you don't have to do anything further. The only thing that is different, or maybe for some of you, you might go, ooh, is the price point. So you don't get a lot, and I'm gonna give you a comparison here. This guy at Lowe's, now keep in mind it's not an all-in-one, but this guy at Lowe's is about $11, okay? And then you have to top coat it. This small guy right here is like $24.99. A little does go a long way, but you have to keep in mind you're getting 2 products in one. So that would be the only thing that I sometimes go, I don't really want to go buy that, because I know it's going to be more expensive than some of these other products, but it is a great product. I do love it for my blended stain looks, because I have just not been able to mimic that with any other product. It's workable, it's a little different, so when you put a stain on, you pretty much wipe it off immediately. This guy, you've got 15 minutes to work with it before you wipe it back. So it's got a little bit better workability time than some stains, hence the blending. It makes it so much easier. But anyway, I wanted to share that one with you guys. It's a super great product. So then some of the tools that I want to share with you, my handy Klingon brush. I have about 10 or 11 of these brushes, different sizes. These are my absolute favorite brushes. I do have a couple of others in the shop that I use as well, but these are kind of like Old Faithful. I absolutely love this. It's a synthetic brush. They are designed, they were made to help with not showing brush strokes. They are a self-cleaning brush. What does that mean? Well, as you can see in the background here, I store my brushes in those mason jars with water. So once I'm done, I basically rinse them out, put them upside down, and keep the tips in the water. This gets my brush, this brush is, well, this is probably one of my newer ones. I'd say I've had this one for maybe a year. You guys, look at that brush. I mean, you see my mess here, but the brush, the bristles, they're in perfect condition. I don't have to scrub super hard to get it clean. I literally rinse when I'm done, and then I soak it in my water. And the key to keeping it upside down is so that your brushes don't fan out and lose their shape and things start popping out, and then that just gets annoying. So Klingon brushes, one of my faves. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this. I get asked about this a lot because I use this product, take pictures, and people are like, what is on top of your tabletop or your dresser top? This is a 3M painter's tape plastic. Painted, it's called pre-taped painter's plastic. And literally you can tape this to, let's say, a dresser top. You pull the sheet over and you tape the rest of it down. So because I do a lot of stain and paint, obviously I use this to cover up to make sure I don't get overspray on my freshly stained top coated piece, or I use it for the opposite. I might put it on my painted area while I'm staining. This stuff is a lifesaver. It saves me so much time. The other fun thing about this is you can wrap this around the drawer, so when you're painting drawer fronts, you don't get all of that overspray or paint that might fling or fly on your drawer sides. That's annoying to have to go back and clean that up afterwards. This will save you. So this stuff's great. Can't live without that now. And then this is one of the products I use a lot to fix little things. This wood filler is awesome. I like this one. I get it in the big tub. You can get this at Lowe's or Home Depot, anywhere, but it's a great wood filler. Changes color so you know when it's dry and ready to be sanded. It's easily sandable, does the job, paints over really nicely. So this stuff here, love it. And then these are kind of silly, but they're super helpful to a furniture person. These super sliders, I get these at the hardware store. These have saved my life. Every time I get a new piece of furniture in, I slide these underneath the feet, and then I can push my furniture all over the shop. I pretty much don't have to ask for help to move anything. It doesn't need to be lifted. They will slide on concrete. They will slide on carpet. So, you know, these are awesome. I don't know why it took me so long to get these, but I have them flying all over the shop now, and I absolutely love these. So these are great. If you're somebody who doesn't want to bother others, you're working by yourself, and you want to move stuff around, key is this. All right, and then this is quite a simple tool, but I love it. When you're painting and you need some assistance for getting that perfect finish, for having a smooth brush stroke free finish, a water bottle is essential. But this isn't any water bottle. This water bottle does not just spurt the water on the piece and give you huge droplets and make a mess. This is a very fine mist water bottle. I hope you guys could see that on camera. Let's do it again. So this releases a very fine, very slow mist onto your piece of furniture, and it will allow you to have a little more workability with the product. I keep this on hand all the time. Amazon. And then my clumsiness, excuse me. This product is something that I discovered about the same time I discovered the Wise Owl paint, because it is a Wise Owl product. There are several products out there like this on the market. I just happen to love this one. This is the Wise Owl Salve. Oh my gosh. If this was smell-o-vision, you guys would just be in heaven because it smells like lemon verbena. This is a beautiful one. I have lavender. They have many, many flavors. They do have unscented for those of you that don't like a scent. What does this do? It is not a wax. It is a furniture salve. And what this is used for, it's very thin. You can literally rub it on your skin. It's not waxy. It will dry into the wood. What it does is it gives, almost like it fills in, I've done a video on this, so check it out, you guys. Kind of fills in fine scratches, brings that wood back to its natural luster. This can be used on more than wood. I've seen people use it on leather, metal. There's all kinds of uses for it, so check it out. This stuff is awesome. So what do I use this for primarily? When I finish a piece, if it's keeping a natural wood top, then I put this on it to, like I said, give it a little luster, fill in those light scratches. I always condition my drawer interiors with this before a piece goes home to a customer. So this stuff's awesome. Love this. Easy to use. You wipe it on, wipe it off, done. I do get asked, does it leave a residue? Is it okay to put my clothes in there? Yes. After you've let it sit for, I usually do it right away. So by the time my piece is going home, it's all good. But I would say before I put clothes back in there, I'd give it a few days to really soak in and evaporate into that wood. It's not a product that sits really on top of it, but you know, better safe than sorry. So there's that. And then this, I think this is one of the last products I want to share with you. This is the stripper that I use when I use stripper. I don't love to use stripper. I just did a video on it not too long ago, but it's not my favorite product to use because I myself have asthma. I don't like harsh chemicals. They bother me, so I really try to stay away from using it. But if I have to, this is the stuff I use. Blue Bear stripper, I get this at Rockler. I know you can order it on Amazon as well. Great product, easy to use, works just as good as any other stripper, and it's a soy gel-based stripper, so the odor isn't as strong as some of the other strippers. That's why I like it. So this is a good stuff right here. And then the last two products I want to talk about. These are essential. I get these at Harbor Freight. This little 4-pack runs me like $3 or $4. It's awesome. I use these to wipe down my furniture when I'm all done and I want to make sure that they're dust free. I use these guys. I also use these on painted surfaces when you don't want to use a tack cloth on a painted surface. So if you have dust or maybe some stuff to get off, the microfiber cloth is the best. I also tell people when the pieces go home, this is what you want to clean with. Wet or damp or dry. They're great for cleaning painted furniture. So love these, gotta have these. And last but not least, one of the things I need to have are my shop towels. So over the years, I've kind of changed about what I like to use when doing certain projects. When I used to stain projects, I would use like bag of rags and they were white cut up t-shirts, but I found that I went through a lot of them and they aren't very absorbent. They were leaving behind lint and I didn't like that. So I thought, you know what, I gotta come up with something better, and I discovered that the blue shop towels work great for that process. So love, love, love my blue shop towels. I buy them in this box so that because I go through a lot of them. They are great when you're wiping back stain. They do not put any lint or any fuzzies or anything into that. They also are a little more absorbent, I find. I can literally use 2 squares for wiping back an entire dresser top. So it works really great. So I love my shop towels. All right, so I thought about this after I wrapped up the video, and this actually is one of the tools I cannot live without, and I wanted to share that with you. This is my mask, my respirator mask. It's RZ Mask is the maker. It's actually torn apart right now because I just cleaned everything last night. This is the filter. It simply gets placed in here and then you put it on with these guys. And then this is the case here. I do have a full respirator, so if I'm working with really heavy chemicals, I do use the full respirator. These are way better than using just the disposable masks, which, you know, you can't even get right now anyway. So I'm so glad I had this. Because when I'm painting, yes, they're water-based acrylic paints, but it's still there, you know, you should always wear a mask to avoid inhaling all that. I use it when I'm sanding to help with the dust. So yeah, this is an awesome part of what my toolbox has in it, and I cannot live without it. I just wanted to share this too. You guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. These were just a few of my favorite things. Please make sure you subscribe to all my videos so you can get all of them in the future. If you have any questions or positive comments, make sure you leave them down below. I always love reading them, and I definitely will answer all of your questions that you ask. Again, I will put all of this stuff in the show notes so that you know exactly what to look for if you are looking for something. Thanks, you guys. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.